Hello and welcome to the Talkcast Pod Show, the number one show on the internet and the last place you should go for legal advice. I am Lanny, and I'm joined as always by my partner in alleged crimes, Kaiser.
Wow, no nicknames this time.
Nah.
I'm surprised.
I am still recovering energy. I just got my AC fixed at home. I was without air conditioning for that entire month and a half span where it was 107 degrees outside at all times.
Yeah. That was really bad.
The interior of my house, especially my office where I try to get most of my shit done, it got upwards of the 90s most days. One day I was actually scripting with Taka, and my body had acclimated to the heat. I was just sitting there typing some stuff out. We were throwing out some real good stuff, or at least the heat made me think it was good, so we'll find out. And I stood up to go refill my water. I just went super lightheaded immediately. I realized I wasn't sweating anymore. I was having a massive heat stroke, so I needed to call it. Yeah, no, air conditioning is a very good modern invention, and I highly appreciate having it back. But yeah, my whole head still has fog from that whole thing, and it's still recovering. So
And we got a bunch of rain.
Yes, I know. Just after I got my AC fixed, it was a real kick in the dick. It's finally. And then whoosh, just buckets of rain outside. I'm you know what? I'm happy. I'm happy that it's raining, but fuck the timing.
Also, the temperature is now going to drop significantly.
I know. I look forward to being able to go out for a walk with my dog when it's not 6 a.m. so I don't have to miss the sun. Seriously, I'd go out for a walk with Mr. Steak, and we have this little trail where we walk around a little local park, and it has this little creek running through it. And as days passed, I noticed that water level going lower and lower to the point that even the turtles weren't in that water anymore, and you could see the bottom of it. I'm oh jeez. Then one day of rain, and it's boom, back up full. Crazy.
Well, Anthony Antfish ended up hitting us up asking, "Hey, are you guys okay? I heard about the flooding," and I'm no, we're most of us are fine. No, I don't think anybody on the team got hit by the flooding.
It was mostly downtown Dallas and that whole area.
Yeah,
because it's much flatter. We're kind of in a hillier section.
Yeah, we're also just a actually higher elevation.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, but hey. Weather is as weather does, but it's about the end of summer, and I don't think we've done one of these since Thor: Love and Thunder.
Was that the last one?
I feel like it was, or at least it's the last one of substance. And I get a lot of people asking, have you guys watched Ms. Marvel? Have you guys watched She-Hulk? Have you got I'm gonna be honest. I think we might sit back on the Marvel reviews for a while. I know there are people out there that really want our opinions on them, but every time we do something Marvel related, it always devolves into us talking about the state of Marvel in general.
Yeah.
And nobody ends up happy at the end of that. Because not us, not the comments, not nothing.
Let that be, though. I think that's really kind of the larger issue. I'm sorry. It's a sign of the larger issue. I don't want to talk about the movies anymore, because the movies are no longer all that interesting to me. The shows are no longer all that interesting. I haven't seen Ms. Marvel. I haven't seen She-Hulk. And I'm likely gonna see Wakanda Forever because
the trailer looks like
oh my god, the trailer
fucking slaps.
Every time I see that trailer, it is just a religious experience. And also, it's I'm forgetting the damn director's name.
I don't know. I don't pay attention. I honestly have not been paying attention.
I like the director, but yeah. And the frustrating thing is, I might still end up watching Ms. Marvel because I've actually heard from a couple of friends that it is still very fun and there's some stuff up my alley.
It's gonna be one of those things that I end up just kind of getting bored and binging over a weekend at some time, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to go out of my way to watch it just to talk about it, is kind of where my head's at personally. Same with She-Hulk. It's going to be another one of those things where I'll probably binge it at some point. But right now, a lot of the Marvel stuff to me kind of feels like homework.
A little bit.
You need to stay up to date if you want to watch this thing and understand what's happening here. And I've watched enough of the shows where nothing in them really gets referenced in the movies outside of WandaVision. It's I don't... why am I... Maybe, yeah.
Well,
but yeah, that's
Well, then let's...
Long story short, kind of why we're not talking about Marvel here, because we're going to do a grab bag of things that we have been paying attention to. Basically an extended rundown.
Yeah.
But first, the rundown. Just quick pitch out there. I am certain this video will not get the same level of views as the other, but we did start doing the Dragon Ball Z Abridged creator commentaries.
Yep.
First episode, DBZA episode 1 went up last Saturday. This Saturday, episodes 2 and 3, I believe.
Yeah. Some people were asking what the release date and the format's going to be, and we'll probably make an actual formal announcement. But basically, we're aiming for every Saturday, and for the time being, it's basically going to be every 2 episodes every Saturday. And then I think we covered the finale.
Yeah, the finale's all one video.
Yeah, the finale's all one video.
Close to a half hour long on its own.
Once we get into season 2, though, and those episodes start to double in length, it's likely that those will be singular video. A lot of those will be singular videos.
Yeah, some of them will still probably get doubled up because we have a short video here and there.
Yeah.
But yeah, look forward to those. I've been enjoying looking through the comments and seeing people's thoughts on that, and I look forward to going through this adventure. We've already recorded all of the season 1 commentary, so that Band-Aid's gone. Now we only have a few things that I worry about getting through.
There's some stuff in season 2 that
there's some stuff that has absolutely been decimated by the passage of time.
Yeah. Although we also have the movies.
True. Speaking of passage of time, Bardock, the first special we ever did.
Oh my god. Oh, every rewatch I do of that is special.
There's like, it's hard to get me to go back and watch a lot of our old material. Whenever I go back and if I do want to be nostalgic for some of the stuff we did, I usually start somewhere mid-Namek, probably around Namekamania or where the Ginyu show up.
It is really kind of fun to go back and watch the older stuff. Like, you'd think, as the creator, I might never ever want to see it again, but just being able to relive some of that time is always kind of nice.
Yeah, because your experience on that is it's vastly different from mine. For me, my experience was we wrote it down, I went and recorded it, but for you had to sit there for 40, 60, 80 hours at a time putting that together. So
oh yeah, my face was up against it for hours at a time.
And so your experience and mine are vastly different in that regard.
Yeah.
But yes, look forward to more of those coming out as we push forward. As for things that we've seen and done over the summer that we just haven't talked about, man, there's a number of things out there. Did you ever end up seeing Sandman?
No, I have somebody who I watch a lot of my stuff with, and we do have that on the docket. But we've been going through other shows, like Better Call Saul, the latest season of Harley Quinn, stuff like that.
Good, you are caught up on Harley Quinn.
Yes,
I do want to talk about that. I've been enjoying that. But just for Sandman, really good adaptation for my money. I got introduced to Sandman by the Audible. I guess it's more of a radio play than it is an audiobook at this point, and I've touted it a number of times. The audio, the Audible version of Sandman, stupid good. Crazy good cast. Got James McAvoy as Morpheus, and just a whole bunch of really good casting. In fact, if you want kind of a taste of it, the bonus episode that they released of Sandman, which is just kind of some side stories in the world, that they released on Netflix, The Dream of a Thousand Cats is actually just the audiobook version of the thing, including James McAvoy as Morpheus. And it's just that audio ripped and animated too. And it's really cool.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. So I do very much recommend that as an adaptation. I still think, it's very hard to make the dreamlike imagery something that's feasible for what Netflix was able to do with their budget. I think they did a very good job. And they truncated a few plot points because Sandman takes place in the DC universe. And there are a few heroes and things like that they had to cut out for licensing reasons, I'm betting. So, but the way they mixed it down and reworked some of the characters and their through lines really worked out for the adaptation, I feel.
Well, at least then I'm sure that Neil Gaiman was very happy that he could finally make his characters in the DC universe masturbate.
Yeah, pretty much.
By the way, the reference to that was he was literally told he was not allowed to let any of his characters masturbate in Sandman because apparently, and I quote, they told him that people in the DC universe don't masturbate, to which Neil Gaiman responded with, well, that explains a lot of your characters.
Yeah, there are a lot of very angry people in that universe. But yeah, it's really good. I liked it a lot. I don't want to give away anything, considering I'm guessing you know nothing about the plot.
Yeah, no, I don't. I really don't know anything. Which, you know, that's sort of exciting to go into something that is as big and beloved as Sandman, knowing literally nothing about it.
It doesn't matter which one you end up doing first, but you recommended an audiobook to me some time ago. I ended up listening to it, ended up loving it. I do recommend the Sandman audio series on Audible.
I might just read the original comic.
You can do that too, but I legit feel that the radio play that they put out there is just stupendously good, and they have 2 seasons out. So
funny enough, I actually do have it.
Good.
Yeah, I bought it a while back, but I've been going through other things. I've actually been listening to the Yang Chen, Avatar book. Because, it's the one set before Kyoshi, and it is so good. By the way, I know I've told you all this before, the Avatar books are legitimately fucking great.
Pretty good as young adult novels go.
Yeah, just leaps and bounds better than the comics. Like, not even comparable. They're so much better than the comics.
It's good to hear. But speaking of Harley Quinn, you've been keeping up with this season, right?
Yeah.
I'm really happy with how this season's been turning out. I don't want to go into like too many spoilers for people out there that haven't been keeping up, but as adult animation comedies go, I still think Harley Quinn's like way up there for me.
It's had its positives and negatives for me this season. I think my biggest issue is that they have been putting a lot of focus on Harley and Ivy, which
I mean, that kind of makes sense given where they left off the last season.
It just feels like a lot of the other characters in the show, like a lot of the other main cast, are being kind of sidelined for relationship stuff. And I don't know how to say this. I hate relationship plot lines. I hate them. I hate them a lot because there's only so many variations you can do on, oh, you lied to me? Well, I only lied to you to protect your feelings. Oh, I don't understand when I'm being annoying. Well, you know, it's okay because I have to accept you for who you are. Shoot me, kill me, hang me on a fucking tree.
I'm a little less cynical in my take on that. I actually think it's kind of refreshing that they're, giving you this relationship angle, and it's not all like, oh my god, I can't believe that this person did blah, or I can't believe that they did blah. And it's more about them adapting to being a couple and trying to be supportive of each other, even though they aren't really entirely 100% on each other's level.
But that's still, again, it's still all the same relationship stuff. It's just Harley Quinn and Ivy. I mean, I don't know. It's not terrible. It's not even bad. It's actually not bad. There's a lot of funny stuff to be mined there, and they are doing that. They are it's still a good show. I just hate this premise, and I knew that this is what they were gonna do at the end of season 2.
It is a little sad that you're right that a lot of the side characters really have nothing going on. Like
Especially
King Shark was one of my favorite characters in the previous 2 seasons. He's had maybe a dozen lines this season.
Yeah, King Shark's got nothing going on. Clayface kind of has something going on, but even that feels.
That's just like because Alan Tudyk is amazing, and
they have him.
Yeah,
the Joker. Ooh, by the way,
the Joker in the latest episode is great.
Joker may be the best character in the season so far.
The way they've managed to redeem him from season 1 is kind of astonishing.
It's really funny. If you told me this was the direction that they were going to go with the Joker, at first I don't think I would have been on board. But the way that they've managed to do it is just so funny. It's really,
Their irreverent way of dealing with all the DC universe kind of stuff is great. Like, I love that they just kind of reveal that Bruce Wayne is Batman to the Joker's like, what? The mystery was half the fun, you idiot! Then he walks up to Bruce Wayne's like, I pre-ordered an electric car from Wayne Tech months ago. Where's my goddamn electric car, Bruce?
Yeah,
great.
I mean, we've talked about Harley Quinn a lot in the past, so everyone, if you ever want to see our, opinions on the show in general, you can definitely go and check out that video. It's on the playlist. That might be on the main channel, though. But Yeah, this latest season, not bad. I'm still enjoying myself. It's just taking it down the relationship problems angle. I always knew I was not going to be a fan of that. Although I will say Poison Ivy continues to just flat out be one of the best character in the show. She has the best lines, best deliveries. She's always, oh my god.
Yeah, no, she's been great. I love that they've been kind of expanding the universe a bit more as they go. Like, you got introduced to Swamp Thing and...
With the man bun!
Yeah. And Constantine shows up as well for a brief moment. They actually, in the comics, it's pronounced Tyne. They do a little rhyme to show it off. So,
okay.
Yeah. So I actually, the pronunciation of that stuck with me because of the Sandman radio play.
Gotcha.
So... but yeah, it's been a fun show.
Yeah.
I've genuinely enjoyed it, as somewhat progressive comedies go.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where that's such a difficult line to ride, trying to write something that's progressive and funny without being preachy. And, sometimes it dips below that line a little bit, especially with, like, the Joker being very blatant in some of his messaging in the previous episode. But as far as dealing with, politics in a adult animated comedy goes, I feel like this has struck a very good balance for me. For some, probably not, but, it's all a scale.
I haven't really thought about it too much. Like, obviously it's there, but I'm mostly just kind of in it for funny enough, I'm just kind of in it right now for the characters that I've established. That's the thing that I'm enjoying most. Like, I'm sorry, Bane and with the sandwich. I don't want to go too far into it, but Bane with that sandwich slayed me.
Yeah, I mean, you and I, we have a love for character comedy. It's why we did DBZA.
Yeah.
So there's pre-baked precedents in there.
And because I don't want to go into spoilers, what they did with a certain organization was really... There are no sacred cows in Harley Quinn. Not a single sacred cow in Harley Quinn. If you respect or admire a character from the DC universe, chances are their version of it. Fucking Nightwing. Oh my god, I
loved Nightwing.
Oh,
fucking the way they treated him was exactly right.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting them to
I'm
go.
Home. And he just did all of like the cliche like like when he's looking around the Batcave. I remember it being bigger.
Yeah, it's good. It's a good little show.
It's fun. It does everything it does very well. Personally, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Your results may vary.
I will say, I was hoping by season 3 they would have improved their animation.
Yeah, but now I feel like they've hit a point where, HBO Max just announced that they're dropping a bunch of shows.
I mean, now we know that fuck Zaslav, I guess.
Which, oh my god, I heard Titans is getting dropped. I'm like, okay, fine. And then I heard Doom Patrol might be getting dropped. I'm like, no, that has potential. Let it bloom.
Yeah, everyone likes Doom Patrol. Nobody likes. Okay, there are people who like.
There are people who like Titans. It wouldn't have gotten 3 seasons if nobody liked it.
There are people watching it. I am not one of them, but yeah, like Doom Patrol is beloved by like the fan base at large.
I fucking love its kooky, weird, high concept sci-fi bullshit.
One of these days, I'm gonna get around to watching it.
It's slow to start, but it's really good. Like, especially if you're if you like the weird, stupid sci-fi shit that I like really weird, high concept shit. Things where it gets stupid meta sometimes. Man, it's hard to explain exactly what Doom Patrol is, but it's good, and I like it, and I want it to stay. # save Doom Patrol. I did the on my hand. # save Doom Patrol.
I got into Fortnite.
I played it with you.
Yeah, and I blame my job. Brienne was giving me all kinds of shit, like, you got into Fortnite. I got into Fortnite for my job, okay? I would never have played it if my job hadn't forced me to, and I like it now. I like it.
I understand the stigma against it. Hating on the most popular thing out there is always going to be popular, ironically.
I can't have hipster cred anymore. I've lost it. I've lost all of it.
You don't get to have it anymore for enjoying something that's mainstream with the youth. It's stupid fun. I've always seen the appeal of it. Like, as a community, as a game, and as a concept, I see why people like it. It is a free-to-play game. I would have been all over this shit, you know, if I was still in middle school or something like that. Because, I mean, you have, like, Goku fighting Naruto, and, like, you have all these weird, cool events that pop in.
It is amazing how many Harley Quinns, though, I've headshot.
How many Vegetas have you headshot? Because that thing's he looks like
nobody plays Vegeta.
Why?
I've seen like 5 Vegetas in the last 30 games I played. Yeah. Everyone's fucking Darth Vader though. Like there are so many fucking Darth Vaders, which makes a lot of sense.
I wonder if there are skins that actually give you a tactical advantage, like by being able to blend into the map a bit better.
I won't lie. There are definitely some characters that are better suited for that. Because if Vegeta does stick out like a sore fucking bomb.
I mean, Vegeta, he literally looks like that movie that they made for Mr. Satan in the Boo arc. Like, they all look like they have a bobblehead on because their anime proportions make their heads massive.
Yeah, also, Vegeta's head is just too big for his model. It just is.
Yeah.
But yeah, I got into it. All it took was them taking out a core function of the game that differentiated it from other battle royales.
Yeah, just get rid of build mode.
Yeah, like as long as I'm playing without building, I've won a couple on my own solo.
You and I won one and got like second place in another one immediately after that.
Yeah, I'm actually kind of okay at the game as long as I don't have to worry about the building mechanic.
Considering what my frame rate was, I was shocked that we won that one. Like, if you could see the footage that I was working with, it was literally a slideshow as I was fighting that final guy. I was like, wait, everything's still freezing. Oh, wait, no, we won. Yeah, the Fortnite event's been kind of neat. I mean, it hasn't been as involved as I imagined it was going to be. Like, they go kind of all out for some of the Marvel stuff. Like, where they gave you, like, the Infinity Gauntlet and you become Thanos or something. With this one, they give you the Flying Nimbus and the Kamehameha, which, you know, as weapons go, good. The Nimbus is a great escape tool, and the Kamehameha.
What did they give you for Naruto?
I wasn't really paying attention. It might have been another one of those low-key, they just give you skins and stuff.
You had to run around Konoha.
They put Konoha in the game?
Yeah.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
That makes... there's actually some Dragon Ball maps if you do the side stuff.
Oh.
Which are kind of cute to walk around in. Honestly, I just did them so I could get the Dragon Balls, so I could get the Shenron glider.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's been an interesting event, and I always wanted to, like, actually try the game out, like, a bit more. Unfortunately, like, my PC is old as dirt at this point, or as slowly as a PC can actually age in this era. So I do need to upgrade it if I ever want to actually stream it or play it with any actual fidelity.
I recently got a...
You just drank coffee, man.
I know. I'm dying. I recently got a new computer, so my rig was basically up to snuff no matter what. Even though I will say this, I have a beast. My computer is an absolute goddamn monster.
Well, you're an editor,
and it's still kind of struggling a little bit.
Technology ages really fucking quickly. But yeah, let's move on to something else I know we've both seen. Let's talk about Nope.
Oh yeah, Nope. Yep.
Nope was a good time. I enjoyed that movie significantly. I don't think it's his best film, but it might be my favorite of his.
It's difficult for me because all three of his films kind of take very different approaches, and that's good. I'm really glad that he's not making the same type of film over and over again, because
he has Jordan Peele has an amazingly creative mind when it comes to coming up with these concepts and seeing them through.
Yeah. I will say it's probably my second favorite of his movies. Get Out is still all the way at the top.
I think Get Out is his best movie.
Yeah, it is. To me, it is his best made movie, but it's also the one that I feel like I connected with its themes the most on. The one that I was like, okay, I fully understand what you're going for here. Where I felt that with, was it Us?
Yeah, Us's concept kind of made it a little bit harder to follow.
It's the concept, it makes sense after you break it down. but it is a little bit like, in terms of its metaphor, its message, it's a little muddy when, like, visually it's great. Visually, it's a gorgeous movie, very well shot. It has some of the funniest scenes out of all three movies.
Tim Heidecker.
Like, it is honestly in a lot of ways, his funniest movie. But it is also the one I feel like has the most muddied, has the most labored message. It's
probably the most difficult to digest as its metaphors and its messaging goes.
Now, the messaging for Nope is, so you have all that subplot with the monkey. And like making and I know that a lot of the message of the movie is making spectacle out of tragedies and all the horrible things that happen in the world, but I don't know, it just didn't feel like that really connected so much with the main.
I felt like it was more about, you know, the idea of man trying to dominate nature and how nature is always going to have its own way.
Yeah, I mean that is definitely.
Because like the whole subplot with Gordy, which probably the most chilling scene in the movie when they actually do like the whole flashback from Andrew Yang's character, Stephen Yao.
Shoot,
oh fuck.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm blanking on his name because
he's really good. He's in Tuca and Birdie too, and I love him.
Yeah, and he's the main character in Invincible.
Either way.
And I know his name, and I feel like a real asshole because I'm forgetting.
Same here, I feel like an asshole for it, but regardless, like his character, his whole deal is he survived that event because he believed, you know, you can actually, you know, communicate and deal with a creature that just doesn't see the same kind of logic as humans do.
It is Stephen. It's Stephen Wen.
Stephen Wen. Yeah, thank you.
Like I kept going over my head. I'm like, yeah. But yeah, the entire, because it's true. And there's the whole subplot with Keith David, his father, and that message where he's like, some animals you cannot tame.
Yeah, you can't tame some animals, and once you realize that that's the messaging, and the marketing for this was intriguing. I loved it, and it didn't give anything away, really.
Oh, yeah.
The only thing the marketing gave away is that there's a hole in the sky and it's sucking things up. Like, is it aliens? Is it nature? Is it God? With Jordan Peele, you don't fucking know.
I don't want to spoil too much for people who haven't seen it.
That's fair.
But that last shot of the Thing,
yes,
fully expanded with that green emerald eye. I was like, oh God, Jesus, fuck!
I feel like that gives it away pretty much.
No, I don't
like
think
what we're
does.
talking about.
No,
okay,
but just fucking biblically accurate angel shit right there. Mm-hmm. Like, fuck me.
I felt like this was a charming, disturbing little creature feature, and I loved it.
Yeah.
And I liked everything about the movie. I came out of it thinking like, well, I don't think it's his best movie. I still think Get Out is his best movie, his best made movie overall. This one's still probably my favorite, just in terms of digestibility and would I go back and rewatch it multiple times. Because there are just so many scenes throughout that I really liked. Like when he's getting pranked in his like stable, and the creatures that are just like coming after, like tries to take out his phone, another one pops out. Yeah, no, just starts walking back.
Yeah.
Another one pops up. It's like, fuck this. Just gets the hell out of there.
I really appreciate that the characters in the film are largely self-aware, but also very like they never feel like they're aware that they're in a movie. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Even the tech guy, who I thought was going to be the most obnoxious character, and in a lot of ways still kind of was.
Oh yeah.
Like I didn't end up hating him like I thought I was going to when he first showed up.
Yeah, very interestingly. Also, oh my God, the filmographer that
the documentarian.
Oh my God, he is my favorite character in the entire thing, and he has like only a couple lines, but just like the attitude and the way he acts is so.
He's the quintessential like old grizzled hunter, you know, like you had the character from Jaws to balance off Adrian Brody.
Oh yeah, he is 100% that character. Mm-hmm. And
he's just like, I just want to get the shot. I'm gonna get the perfect shot. It's like, light's not right. I gotta do this myself. And he goes out there to like.
He didn't have an accent.
I'm just giving him an accent. Let me give people accents sometimes. But no, he's fantastic. He does have that like great gruff voice.
Oh yeah, oh my god, that voice made me. I think that's kind of what sold him on me. Like the part that made me love him the most. Is that every time he talked, I was kind of like melting in my seat.
Yeah, and it's such an intriguing movie too. I know we've given away like a decent amount of stuff. I'm trying to limit the spoilers, but just the more you learn as it goes on, it's something that Jordan Peele is very good at with his screenwriting, is giving you that sort of almost Lovecraftian trickle of information where like the more information you get, the more tense things are getting. And we talked about this a little earlier, but the fucking sound design in this movie made it for me.
Oh yeah, all of his films have stupid good sound design. I want to like work with those people one day just to learn from them.
This one in particular, like when you're hearing like the first time something happens and you hear those like screams from a distance and you're like wondering, okay, what is causing this? Is there like a rapture event happening? Where are these screams coming from? And then you realize how they're being produced and why they exist, and you're like, oh my god.
Yeah, it's so good because whatever, like, Jordan Peele is fantastic at laying out scenarios that have you asking a million questions, and then every time a small piece of information is introduced, it recolors everything you watched in a way that's like immediately informs you. You're like, there's no wait, is that what that was? No. You see it, you get it, and it then it's like, oh, okay, that was that. But then what is that?
There's like these a billion little mysteries in the movie that really lend well to a rewatch, because now that you have like all these questions answered by the end of the movie, you go back, it's like, okay, so now can I piece together a few of these things and make a little bit more sense out of some of these other bits? And I love that in movies. Yeah. And I think he's a fucking master of that form of film craft. He has found an amazing niche in like horror and suspense.
I just realized something. There's something really symbolic about the fact that he keeps the quarter, much like Steven Yeun kept the shoe.
Yep.
And I think that's a really interesting parallel.
Yeah. Probably one of my favorite movies of the summer, honestly. I mean, Everything Everywhere All at Once is probably my favorite movie of the year.
Oh yeah, I did.
But
yeah.
This is up there in terms of like movies I've enjoyed just going out and watching on my own.
I haven't. I've seen a couple of different films throughout the year. Nope was definitely one of the ones I was most excited about. I won't lie. Trying to think. I unfortunately am blanking on a lot of this stuff. Actually, probably. Well, I just.
Jordan Peele now has this. I'm not afraid to say that anytime a new Jordan Peele movie is announced, I'm going to be excited for it. I feel the same way anytime an Edgar Wright movie is announced. It's like, oh shit, he's making another movie, I'm going to go see that. I wasn't huge on Last Night in Soho, and Baby Driver was, not quite as good as the Cornetto trilogy, but I still give, I'll still go out and see.
I judge most creators on their best work, by and large. If somebody only ever makes one really good thing, I'll still admire that good thing, and I'll still admire the person who made it. If Edgar Wright's career starts to just like not be as good as his first 4 or 5 movies, that's fine. He made some of my favorite fucking movies of all time. I'll deal. He'll still be one of my favorite directors of all time.
And he's still really good at directing the movies. Like, that's the thing. Like, right now, he's in a position where he's done amazing stuff. He is a cult favorite director out there for a very good reason. Scott Pilgrim, the Cornetto trilogy. It's very hard to touch those.
The best parts of Ant-Man.
Best parts of Ant-Man. So he's kind of like earned that position there. So now when he goes out and just does his avant-garde, whatever the hell he wants movies, I respect that.
He did a documentary recently. I haven't seen anything about it.
Yeah, I haven't seen that either. But I'm sure it's good. Let's see. I guess we'll move on to Better Call Saul.
Yeah.
Because you just recently finished Breaking Bad, and then in the span of like a week and a half, I feel, you just, bam, Better Call Saul.
Yeah, it was probably closer to about 3 weeks.
Okay. It felt really quick of a turnaround as for, I just remember how long it took you to get through Breaking Bad, and then Better Call Saul felt like...
Well, that's because me and my friend Gavin, Pregame Gav, as a lot of people might know him, we were watching through Breaking Bad together, and we were only doing maybe an episode or two every time we would watch, and we couldn't do it every night. When I got to Better Call Saul, though, it was all me until season 6, in which case that's when we actually started watching through the episodes together again. And yeah, I blazed through Better Call Saul. I zoomed on that one.
It is a very bingeable show. In a lot of ways, I liked it more than Breaking Bad. Like, there are some things that Vince Gilligan and the other showrunners picked up along the way through making Breaking Bad that I feel like really benefited the production of Better Call Saul.
So, Better Call Saul and Breaking Bad are two very, and it's fascinating how different shows they actually are, considering that there's a lot of shared characters, shared universe, shared themes, shared, like everything. It shares so much, but because their main characters are so vastly different, you find a very different story with a different tone, different problems, and also, I said this, watching Better Call Saul, there's action, there's suspense, there's drama, but Breaking Bad felt like a car swerving into head-on traffic and narrowly avoiding cars. Better Call Saul never quite hits that level of craziness and like, it's never so harrowing. You're never like, and I think part of that is because you know where things end up. You know where at least a couple of these characters end up. Other ones you don't. Mm-hmm. And those are, like, for me, those are some of the most fascinating characters. It's why, like, Mike Ehrmantraut may be my favorite character in the show, but my second favorite, and maybe actual favorite, is Kim Wexler. She is one of my favorite characters in fiction now. And I'm not kidding.
Stupendously great actress.
Oh, like, yeah. Oh, my God.
She has some chops in this show, and is just fantastic throughout. Of course, I mean, Bob Odenkirk is just an immensely charming person and plays Saul to perfection.
Oh, yeah.
Saul/Jimmy. And just both Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul are very analogous to Greek tragedies.
Yeah.
As you watch, something get built up, getting ready for a tremendous fall. And the fall does come for Jimmy multiple times, I feel, as he's kind of tested and forged throughout this into what would become Saul Goodman.
So I talked a little bit about this. Walter White, watching Breaking Bad was me waiting for Walt to just fucking fail. I wanted to see him fail because it's very early on and really, really weird to look back on the culture of Breaking Bad when it was coming out. There were people who idolized Walter White. Oh, God.
They're the same kind of people that idolize characters like Travis Bickle.
And you know what? I was probably there. If I were watching Breaking Bad when it was coming out, I too think I would have been like, no, he's doing it for his family. He's doing, like, he wants to become this crime boss and, he'll run things better. But no, watching it as a full-grown ass adult with everything that I've watched and consumed and the life experiences I've had, watching Walter White is like watching a pathetic old man bluff his way through a world he has no part in, causing immeasurable harm, and ultimately leading to the ruination of life after life after life, finally culminating in his own. It crazy to me that anyone nowadays would look at Walter White and think anything besides he's a pathetic, toxic man who definitely deserved what he got in the end.
It's an empowerment fantasy. I mean, what you're looking at is a man who has basically just let life dominate him. Like, he gave up on some things very early on, and he let that become who he was, and he decided to change that in a very unhealthy way.
Yeah. It was him. It was him looking at, like, missing out on certain things that he felt owed. It was him putting this onus on himself, but also using that onus as an excuse to be toxic. Like, I know it's a buzzword that a lot of people like to throw around, but toxic masculinity is a thing. And he even talks about how his father was like, don't show emotion, don't be open about yourself. That conversation he has with, not Skylar, with Walter Jr. is so illuminating. And it's really depressing. Because you get these brief moments in the show of Breaking Bad where you get to see Walter be a human fucking being. Let it out. Acknowledge that he has done terrible things. And in those moments, you want him to get better. You want him to hold on to that. James McGill, Saul Goodman, is not Walter White.
Nope.
But he also has a perception of reality that every time he gets close to being the good guy he wants to be a good person, the way he was brought up and the ideas that were instilled in him as a child ruined him every time.
It started with that flashback in the store where his dad's just, you see his dad continuously getting fleeced by people.
Yeah.
And in this case, it's just a guy that is essentially like robbing him of some money just by asking to borrow some. And then he shows Jimmy, who's like working the till, that he has money to buy cigarettes and stuff. And he's like, you got to learn how to look out for yourself. There's wolves and sheep, kid. Don't be a sheep. And from that point onward, as his dad begins to fail, some of which to like Jimmy's fault, because obviously he did rob them blind, as Chuck likes to point out, it all just becomes this compounded nature for him where, like, this is the way he feels like he has to navigate the world. And his brother, while I'm sure Chuck believes he meant the best for Jimmy, was immensely jealous of him because Jimmy had that little boy favoritism. Even on, his mother's deathbed, the last thing she asked was, "Where's Jimmy?" as Chuck watched her die and Jimmy's off getting sandwiches. So that whole relationship was fucked from like the start.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Spoilers.
Yeah.
Throughout.
Spoilers.
That's a season 2 spoiler.
Yeah.
But if you haven't watched any Better Call Saul, spoilers.
Yeah. Better Call, so James McGill is such a fascinating character because, as you said, he's instilled at this early age with there are wolves and sheep. So that means that he can look at the world and basically process it in a way where he doesn't have to follow the rules because he thinks the world doesn't follow the rules that it sets. And meaning he can do whatever, as long as it justifies the means, as long as the outcome is good, he can do whatever it takes to get there. And he can also, like, the worse he gets, like, the farther he falls, the more deranged things that he thinks are good ends. Like, that's the scary part for Chuck, is that in his brother, he sees, look, I know right now you want to do these things. You want to lie and scheme and get what you want for good reasons. But if at any point you stop doing these things for good reasons, you will be the most dangerous man out there.
And while throughout the entirety of like the first season and the second season, I think it's hard to really like Chuck because he's not a likable person really. He's very full of himself. He's very pompous. He lacks humanity in a lot of ways because he like keeps some stuff, keeps parts of him like compartmentalized away, which drives people out of his life. And then you have the complete opposite in Jimmy, who's very personable, very friendly. But Chuck believes in the letter of the law to the word, and he sees that if you give somebody like Slippin' Jimmy McGill the ability to understand what the law is and to manipulate it by way of his charisma, like he says, it's like giving a chimp a machine gun.
So I hate to break this down into something so simple and so meme-tastic, but you have the alignment chart, right? You have the lawful, you have chaotic, and you have neutral. And if you take a look at the characters of James, Chuck, and Kim, you literally have with James you have chaotic, with Chuck you have lawful, with Kim you have neutral.
Don't think so.
I would absolutely say so. Because she rides the line between the two of them. I
think if you're talking pure alignments, I think Jimmy is chaotic neutral, Chuck is lawful neutral, Kim is chaotic good. She wants to do the right things, but she will use Jimmy's methods to do it, and at a certain point, he pulls her down to his level.
He pulls her away, but she starts out very much neutral good. She sees in a lot of the ways that Jimmy acts and is like, I see how that works for you. But she also has a massive amount of respect for Chuck. And hell, even Howard. Like early on, you can see that she's trying to ride the line. She's trying to be that good lawyer who's working within the boundaries. It's why she doesn't complain when she's given shit tasks after she stands up for James. She doesn't like fucking lambaste Howard then. She just does what she's supposed to do.
But then as she sees the system more and more for what it is, as like you're not going to get what you want this way, she starts to slide more and more.
James is a very bad influence on her, but as we find out, she is also a bad influence on him. Because where he introduces these concepts and ideas that ultimately take her away from what she actually wants to do, she enables him by always believing the best in him, making excuses for him, and sticking by him even when she knows that it's not in anyone's best interest to do so.
And her plans, for what they are, do turn out to be a bit more nefarious than Jimmy's do on their own.
Yeah, because where
Jimmy will do stuff for like petty revenge. Like he'll do petty plots. Sometimes he'll do something a bit more Machiavellian in order to get like the big win, but he never goes as far as they do in the final season.
And part of that comes down to Kim is better than Jimmy at everything. Literally everything.
Yeah, he's very much playing by the seat of his pants a lot, just assuming that he'll be able to talk his way out of things.
But she has more knowledge. She the only thing that she's not better at is his ability to talk and come up with stuff on the top of his head. But she is a better lawyer in terms of like knowing the law and being able to utilize it for what she wants. She's a
better tactician.
She's a better tactician. She's more coordinated. So them combined is terrible, and them combined ruins people's lives, as we see.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I love her. I love watching her. I love the way that she is drugged down over the course of the series, and the way she responds to not just Jimmy, but Chuck and Howard. The way that she processes all this information and tries to live her life. I don't know. I love it. It's like Vince Gilligan spitting on the people who complained about Skylar. Which, by the way, Skylar in the first 2 seasons is only narratively annoying because she like keeps the plot from moving on, but she was absolutely in the right the entire time. Yep. I will not fucking hear otherwise. Skylar, you know what? I'm glad she fucked Ted. I'm glad she fucked Ted. And anyone who calls that cheating, she literally broke up with Walt. She tried to kick him out of her house. That wasn't cheating. She told him it was over. She told him it was done. And then he gaslit her and then got back into her house. She deserved to fuck Ted. Justice for Skylar.
Let her get that dick.
I mean, Ted was a fucking idiot.
Yeah, he's a fucking dumbass, and he ended up, but
what ends up with Ted? Good. Fuck him. Fuck that idiot. That fucking moron.
Like Bill Burr was really good in Breaking Bad too.
Oh
like,
my god. I was so sad. Like, I guess this is a minor spoiler. He doesn't come back in Better Call Saul. I was so sad. I wanted to see more Bill Burr.
Yeah. Another character that I really loved in Better Call Saul, who was, it almost felt like a throwaway line in Breaking Bad, but 2 characters were introduced from one line. Are you with Lalo? it wasn't me, it was Ignacio. So you get introduced to Nacho and eventually Lalo because of that one line that Saul threw out there in the beginning of Breaking Bad.
And that's retroactive. That's obviously Vince going back and being like, he mentions these characters.
I need to have characters for that. But watching Saul as he gets into this world, and seeing him work his way up from his initial negotiation with Tuco, which I think is beautiful and brilliant, literally saving 3 people's lives by inflating the ego of Tuco, and it's like, no, you're clearly a man who knows justice, and you're a just person. So what would be a justice befitting this crime for these people? I'll cut out their tongues. No. How about we get rid of their way of being able to do their grift?
Yep.
Break their legs so they can't do the thing that they do.
Yeah.
That way, they know that it's brutal. They know that you'll come after them, but it's fair. And that was the first brilliant scene where I'm like, no, I think I'm gonna dig this show.
Yeah, and that also, that scene is so important because it literally is what got him into the life. It got him into the game. Mm-hmm. And not just because it was him, technically negotiating with the fucking cartel. It was him showing the cartel that he is a talker. Everyone's wait a second, he talked down Tuco?
Yeah.
Everyone's like, holy shit, we gotta get this guy.
Exactly, because Nacho's there that entire time, and he sees through Saul. He knows, okay, you're just bullshitting, but you're able to talk down this meth head, hothead dude that was prone to just, Tuco, Nacho expected to dig 3 holes that day.
Yep.
And he didn't dig any. So he's like, okay, this guy's legit. I might be if something happens, I might be able to work with this guy. And he does. And fucking Nacho's great throughout this. He's the same guy that played Voss in Far Cry 3.
I will say this. So, I feel like Better Call Saul does one thing mostly better than Breaking Bad. In that its characters aren't in Breaking Bad, Skyler, Walter Jr., basically Walt's family, Marie, it has some side characters that kind of slow the plot down. Don't feel like they're adding a whole lot. Later they do. I came to love the entire cast of Breaking Bad, but early on, you can tell that Vince is still trying to figure out what he wants to do with all the characters that he's introduced, how to write for them, what plots to make for them. Better Call Saul, for the most part, doesn't have that problem, except for me, with Nacho.
Really?
Well, again, specifically early on. Later, comes about season 3 and onward, Nacho takes a very steep climb in terms of my favorite characters.
That's because his agency continues to rise.
Yeah. But in the first 2 seasons, especially in the first season, he kind of comes off as just a punk. He doesn't come off nearly as intimidating or as important as I feel like Vince wanted him to feel in those moments, especially since Saul has to bail his ass out. Mm-hmm. With the Kettlemans, which, by the way, the Kettlemans.
Oh my God. Yep.
But Nacho, the moment that Nacho has to work with Gus, the moment we get to that, I love the stuff with him and was it Hector?
Salamanca, yeah.
Yeah. All that stuff, it's good. It's good. It's like watching him desperately try and get rid of the people that are ruining his life. Totally great. But it isn't until he's drug into the stuff with Gus that you suddenly become really invested in what's going to happen to him, because it puts him now in a very reactive, kind of tragic scenario, which, by the way, you want to talk about a tragic character, Nacho is tragedy on top of tragedy. I
mean, because you have this character who, he's quote unquote the rogue with a heart of gold. I mean, obviously he's a criminal and he's more than likely killed a number of people.
Yeah,
but,
he does not deserve the best in the world. You can tell that if he could, he'd get out of all of this.
Yeah,
he would step away from it, never do it again, go help his dad, and live a fucking just peaceful life. He is the Jesse Pinkman of this show.
And he it's very much illustrated in a specific conversation, I think in season 4, I want to say, where he's talking to the boss,
Don Ladio.
Yeah, Don Ladio, and he's like, so I just want to talk to you one-on-one. What would you what is it that you want? You know, like it's easy to motivate people, and I know exactly what they want, and I know where they want to go. It's just like, I just want to do things. I just want to go my own way. I want to do things my own way, and I don't want to have to look over my shoulders. Like, you're in the wrong business. It's like, yeah, that's kind of
Yeah. It's like, him saying you're in the wrong business to Nacho Varga, fucking, oh my God, what a horrible thing to say to this poor guy.
Because he's just sitting there like, I know. And he's able to keep that like stoic expression the whole time. He has a really good stare.
Yeah, and at first he's faking it. Mm-hmm. You know, he's really putting on a show. But as the course of the show goes on, he gets this poor stone.
The show batters him.
Yeah, he gets
he gets tossed from Tuco, like working directly under Tuco. He's like, you know, Tuco's number 2 guy, to working under Hector Salamanca, who actually gets a chance to talk and act without just ringing a bell, which I thought was really good. The guy's great.
Yeah, we only got like one scene of that in the in Breaking Bad. Here, he's a full-on character.
And he sold Mike a goon.
A goon?
$10,000, and the goon is yours.
Yes.
A bit of a meme, but I love it.
It's a meme.
And then he has to work with the twins, who were already a disruptive.
The cousins.
Yep.
Oh my God! The fact that the cousins get to just basically. One of my friends actually was like, "Would you recommend Breaking Bad before or after, like Better Call Saul before Breaking Bad?" I'm like, "No, absolutely not. No, the introduction, the way those characters are used. No, you have to watch Better Call Saul after. At 100%."
Yeah, as a prequel, it definitely works better as a sequel, funny enough.
Yeah.
And then finally, you get introduced to one of my favorite characters in the show. I know you and I are a bit divided on this, but Lalo. I love the actor, I love his charm, and I love how he can just kind of like flip on a dime, like just being charming and smiling too. Like, he just has the eyes of a shark.
Yeah, he's basically supposed to be the arch nemesis of Gus.
He's supposed to be like, what if Gus Fring, but with the, the tactical knowledge and ability to get shit done of Mike.
Yeah, a little bit. Because, like, where Gus is, I've got guys to do that for me. Lalo is, I'll go do it.
Yeah, Lalo's, I got guys that can do that for me, but fuck it, I'll do it.
Yeah, no, I will say this. My favorite part about Lalo is his giddiness to be involved. Mm-hmm. He is never Mr. I'll just sit back and let other people take care of it. He's, hey, he'll jump up and be like, all right, let's go.
Show me.
Yeah, show me. But I feel like while there are parts of Lalo that I really did like, there were also parts where I was just kind of like, okay, I get what they're going for with him, but it felt like they were trying a little too hard with the cheeriness, but also the violence. Like, I get this character. I've seen this character.
Yeah, you've seen that character before. I get that, and I understand where you're coming from there. For me, I feel like, while yes, I have seen this type of character before, the way it's pulled off so masterfully by the actor, and the way he's written, and just like the situations that he finds himself in and finds himself going through, I just think he's like my favorite version of that trope.
Yeah, he does a good job. I don't want to like take it away from him. Like, I just in a show that gave me Gus Fring, I look at Lalo and I think, you're good. You're not Gus Fring, but you're good.
He's Gus Fring if Gus had charisma. Like, Gus is very good at being controlled and centered.
Yeah, which, oh my God, like, Gus is so fucking fascinating in this show. In Breaking Bad, you only get 2 versions of him. You get a brief glimpse at the Gus Fring before he lost everything and decided that the Salamanca, the whole cartel needed to fucking go down. And then you get, well, the Gus Fring of Breaking Bad, the one that's like this machine, basically.
Gus Fring was always a better Walter White.
Yeah, he was basically what Walter White desperately wanted to be, and he was like the thing about Gus Fring is that Gus Fring was not happy. Gus Fring wasn't mad. Like all Gus Fring had by the end of his life was his vengeance, his anger, his vengeance, his lust for death, and control and power. That's the only things he cared about by the end of it, which isn't explored a whole lot in the text, I feel like you don't quite get a lot of that. But in Better Call Saul, there's a moment that really hurt.
Was it the bar? Was it the wine bar?
It was the wine bar.
Because that is such a tragic scene where you see that like he desperately wants something more in life, but he can't have it because his enemies would never let him.
And let me be clear, Gus Fring is an actual monster. Gus Fring, like, deserved...
Dude, his monologue about the Kawati?
Yeah.
Fucking hell yeah.
Total monster. This isn't a, oh, I idolize Gus Fring, or, oh, I feel so bad for him. But when you get to know these characters and you see them, there is a part of you that desperately would love to watch them figure something out, take a step towards good.
Being able to see the human beneath the monster.
Yeah, because you like the, I think we all kind of like the idea of bad people getting better. You know, like even after all the things they've done, it still feels good to watch a bad person realize something about themselves that helps them take a step towards something better. And in that moment, there is something better for Gus Fring. But the moment that thing leaves the room, he realizes, no, I can't do this. I can't dedicate my life to anything besides what I've got.
I can't allow myself to be happy.
Yeah, I can't allow myself to be happy.
And you have to wonder in that moment, is it because like he's worried that if he allows himself to be happy, it makes him vulnerable? Or is it that he doesn't believe he's allowed to be happy?
It's, yeah, you can read into it a million different ways. And so Gus gets up and leaves. And watching that, I was like, I honestly did not expect to get a lot of character development for Gus Fring in Better Call Saul. But that was so good. And again, it's not about, oh, I just want Gus Fring to be happy. It's watching these characters come so close.
It's being able to watch these humanizing moments for all these characters that are like larger than life.
Like Mike. Mm-hmm. Mike Ehrmantraut, like, let's be honest. Mike deserved to be happy earlier on. Yeah, he was a dirty cop, but he lost his son over it. He felt awful for it. He didn't kill anybody. He did some dirty jobs, but he always tried to be as close as on the up and up as he could be, and while still making money to support his family.
And you get to watch kind of in parallel as both Mike and Jimmy start to slide down this dark path. Mike, as he gets more acquainted with the Salamancas and eventually Gus, and Mike has to like oversee things for Gus. He basically becomes his primary enforcer by the end of the third season, I want to say. And man, just the fucking tragedy of I can't remember the architect's name. The German guy.
Yeah, Siegler.
Yeah, Siegler.
Oh my god, that shot is that's where Mike that's basically the moment where Mike,
that was his half measure full measure moment.
Yeah, first of all, Siegler's a fucking idiot.
Oh yeah, he's an absolute idiot. He did not understand the scope of what he was dealing with. Yeah, and Mike tried to explain it to him.
Yeah,
so
like, I feel sympathy for Siegler, but fuck.
While he does not deserve what happened to him, you understand how it comes to pass. Yeah. And poor Mike has to be the one, like, you know, when he's talking to Gus, like, and Gus is saying, like, look, he's a liability. It needs to be taken care of. Mike saying, I'd go another way. And Gus is like, get it done. Click.
Yep, and Mike is so... The reason that Mike is so interesting is that he has a set of morals that he has dedicated himself to. He makes a deal. He keeps up that end of the deal, no matter what.
It's like he says to Pierce. I think his name was Pierce early on. It's like I've known good criminals and I've known bad cops. You know, one way or the other. Whether you're good or bad, you broke the law. So now you're a criminal. You can be a good criminal. That's up to you. You just, like, what you do from here on, you've already stepped beyond that line.
Yeah.
So to him, it's all about like the code of honor, and he almost has this kind of like knight errant feel about him, where he almost goes by his own code of chivalry.
Well, I have a particular love for characters who realize that law is not morality, and morality is not law. You can't, like, the idea that breaking the law is inherently immoral to me, sorry, I just don't agree with that. Now, that doesn't mean I don't think we should have laws. Obviously, I do. But I like characters that can kind of separate the, like, look, you can break the law and still be a good person. People do it all of the time.
And you can follow the law and still be an evil piece of shit.
Yeah, absolutely. Because laws are man-made and man is fallible. And so Mike, the only thing he cares about, as you said, is that code of ethics that he adheres to no matter what. And that's why when he does things that feel so dirty and wrong, you can still understand where he's coming from. He agreed to do something. He agreed to be a part of the situation, for better or for worse, and now he's holding up his end of the bargain. Which, you know, in some ways, kind of just wants you to tell Mike, stop getting involved with this shit. But then he only ever got involved because they wouldn't leave him alone.
I absolutely love the scene where after they start giving him security paychecks, he just shows up and actually does the job.
Yeah, no, and that's okay. I'm sorry. I could spend an entire episode with Mike Ehrmantraut going to that fucking warehouse, talking to people, getting shit in order. Oh my God.
Do you know how easy it was for me to get in here? You're not wearing a hard hat. You need to wear your safety strap, and that needs to be 3 degrees colder.
Yeah.
Just, he's such a great actor. I watched Community after I watched Breaking Bad.
I didn't know.
And when he showed up in season 5, the character he plays in that is just so fucking great.
I need to watch that season.
Season 5.
If I'd known that he was in that, I would have watched it already.
Watch season 5. I know, like, just skip season 4. Season 4 of Community sucks.
Oh yeah, I know. It's basically a gas leak.
Yeah, they call it the gas leak here. But he's fucking hysterical because he's essentially still playing Mike, an old grizzled cop, like, that retired and is now teaching criminology. But with like some Dan Harmon comedy written in there. Like, he just wants to be a cartoonist. He's a duck, his name is Fred, and publishers are interested.
I need to watch that really badly.
It's great.
But yeah, no, Mike is one of my favorite characters. Kim's one of my favorite characters. Jimmy's great. I will say Chuck is definitely
he's interesting. He's one that on rewatches I began to understand a bit more.
Oh, I understood him. That was not my problem. My problem was he was very aggravating to be around.
But that's kind of his point.
Oh, yeah.
Where he's right. He is absolutely right in a majority of the things he says, but the way he tries to go about it is the worst possible way to try to get any actual tangible good results.
That's a lot of characters in the show, to be honest.
Yes, but him specifically, that's where the frustration with Chuck is. Because deep down, there's still probably some love for Jimmy, but he is ultimately the reason that Jimmy becomes Saul. He is the catalyst.
Okay, so yeah, I don't have to worry about the spoilers. So it was really funny. After I'd like finished the first 5 seasons, my friend was like, "So, what did you think of the episode?" Now, when I say the episode, out of 5 fucking seasons of television, in Better Call Saul, which episode do you think I'm talking about?
There are so many I can think of, but I'm guessing it's Lantern.
Is that the one with the
fire?
No.
Okay, which is the episode?
The one with the cell phone.
Oh yeah, the one right before. That still might actually be Lantern. No, it's right before. That one was the one before Lantern.
Yeah, it's something Antics. Cantankerous? Cantankerous, I think is the name of it.
By the way, it's Jimmy's trial, essentially.
And the moment Huel bumped into him, I knew actually what was happening. The moment Huel did it, I was like, oh, he just put something electronic on him, didn't he?
But then they give you the twist where it's like, aha, no battery in there. Okay, check your other pocket.
Yeah. Yeah. Fucking. By the way, that's some fucking magician shit right there. Mm-hmm. Oh, really? Would you check your side pocket?
Yeah.
Which, that is very, very good. And also, ow.
Yeah, because
Oh.
his whole psychosomatic breakdown, which caused him to believe, like, it basically just gave him some immense agoraphobia, which he blamed on a inability to, like, an allergy to electricity.
Yeah, he that's essentially what it is. And which, by the way, I love how the doctor comes in and is like, that's not a thing.
Turns on a light behind him.
Well, no, the bed. She turns on the bed beneath them, and nothing happens. And, you know, like, Saul's like, that was dirty. And she's like, really? Because, to me, it just proved that he's crazy, and you need to do something about it. And, oh my god.
It's a cycle of characters enabling each other and then sabotaging each other. That seems to be what the McGill family does.
You know, I think the entire show is in danger of enabling the people close to you to continue to, you know, exhibit and follow through on unhealthy behavior.
And then there's the whole motif of the winner takes it all.
Yeah.
And how, like, I mean, it really shows how much polar opposites both Jimmy and Chuck were. Because Jimmy, terrible singer. Every time you see him trying to sing, like, I don't know if Bob Odenkirk literally cannot sing to save his life or if he's just playing it up.
Oh, I bet he can sing a way better than Jimmy McGill
But Jimmy cannot sing. And then when Chuck starts singing the duet along with him and he starts actually getting in the limelight and stealing the microphone away from Jimmy, trying to be the center of attention because he's way better at it.
But Jimmy was okay with those moments because it was getting his brother to finally stand out. And I think that's the worst part about it, is that if Chuck really wanted that, he could have had it. But he always got so undermined and so frustrated at his brother. Like, it is very tragic.
There's a reason that there are a million character study essays on YouTube out there of Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul, because all of these characters are just so interesting to take a deep dive into.
I'm really glad in the last episode that we finally got Jimmy just flat out saying he's the one who killed his brother. Because he is. He's the one who did it.
He's the one that drove him to it.
Yeah, because and the worst part was, it was a throwaway. It was a throwaway comment. In that one moment he realized, you know what, I could fuck over Chuck right now. And he does. And that was it.
Mm-hmm.
If he hadn't done that with his insurance, with his malpractice insurance, he wouldn't have killed his brother. That was the thing that finally pushed Howard to tell Chuck,
you're done.
Yeah, you need to stay out of this. You need to, like, you're obviously not good to do this anymore. By the way, Howard Hamlin, don't want to spend too much time on him, but talking about tragic characters, he did not deserve that. He did not deserve any of that. And oh my god.
Among a show of fantastic performances, another fantastic performance. Like, I can't think of a single actor in this show that I didn't like. I mean,
that actor, by the way, I swore I'd heard him somewhere before, but I don't think I had.
He's a character actor and he has done a bunch of voiceover.
Yeah, man, I've checked all of his stuff. I don't think I'd actually, like, seen anything with him in it before. But he's so good. He's, like, the way that he talks, the way that he actually carries himself. Oh my god, and his failed marriage, and by the end of it, I'm really, really, really glad. Like, the way that everything came out in that final episode, very happy.
Yeah. It was interesting when we finally, like, flipped from flashback to the present event stuff, and it's like, okay, now we don't know what's going to happen, and I'm interested to see how this turns out. And you see Jimmy kind of go down his dark ways again, just for seemingly, like, little to no reason, and entrapping some people into his scheme.
See, that part I could almost forgive. I could almost forgive that part, because he was like, yeah, now you can't tell anybody who I am.
Yeah, he essentially did, like, a criminal plot just to get some dudes off his back, because it's like, hey, what you just did, this is a felony here, this would be 15 to 20, this would be 25 to 30. Don't talk to me. This is what we call mutually assured destruction should either of us decide to talk to somebody.
Unfortunately, that gave him the taste.
Yeah.
It was a fucking extinction event. He had gotten so close, or an extinction burst, and it's an extinction burst, and where you have an addiction and you're just so close from getting over the addiction, but then you're like, maybe I'll just have one, and then the next thing you know, like, 20 candy bars. Your diet is ruined.
And it gets so much worse than it ever had been before because he like...
Oh yeah, and
he fell back in hard.
Extinction bursts usually come up with like, it's that low point and then it goes way higher than your average. And yeah.
Off the wagon super hard with Jimmy. And then finally we get the ending, and I don't know if I want to spoil the ending despite the fact that there's a lot of stuff to talk about with that ending.
I will say this. I truly feel bad for Kim. Truly. Even though she did absolutely do the wrong thing for years, even though she's absolutely responsible for what happened with Howard, even though she deserved to be, to basically go to prison, she wanted the best for the people that she was trying to help. She did pro bono work. She put herself out there. She believed in Chuck and Jimmy. I truly felt bad for her. But by the end of it, I honestly felt like, yeah, you know what? This is right.
Where she ended up and what she decided to do, I feel like was the last little influence that she had on Saul / Jimmy, because he ends up, kind of like in a space where after hearing what she had done, he ends up making a huge change and kind of fucking himself over for the best reasons.
But it's so funny because she, like that conversation where she's like, you need to turn yourself in. Oh yeah? Why don't you turn yourself in?
Oh,
okay. Right. And then he's like, I'm gonna get off with 7 years. Bitches. And then he hears
everything.
And then he hears, oh yeah, by the way, Kim confessed. And then Jimmy's like,
huh.
Oh no, I ain't being outdone. Nah.
I ain't done yet.
She thinks she's got the moral high ground. No way.
I'll show you the moral high ground.
Which, I'm sorry, I actually do think that part of that was motivated. It was partially motivated from him wanting to do the right thing. It's like, oh shit, she did the right thing.
Maybe it's time I own up.
Yeah, but also, I'm sorry, the fact that he had her there just so he could be like, by the way, I wanted you here for this. And then fucking
just let it loose.
Let's loose on it. Like, holy fucking shit.
And then he just, like, I can't think of a more appropriate ending for him, because endings are very hard, but he ends up in a space where he's essentially a celebrity. Like, everybody around him loves him, and he's just going to spend his time in this space, doing essentially what he was doing in, like, when he was in, criminal protection, like the criminal protection program, but now doing it amongst his people.
Yeah.
And yeah.
I find that
it is a fascinating show. Obviously, we just spoiled a bunch of things for it if you haven't watched it, but it is still very much worth it just for the characters, just for the writing, and I can't recommend this show enough. I personally, again, I liked it better than Breaking Bad.
Yeah. I'm wondering, is there anything that people are... There's going to be something. There's always something that somebody brings up in the comments, like, you didn't bring up blank? And I'm like, we could spend hours talking about Better Call Saul and Breaking Bad and never talk about blank. God. But...
Form your own opinions.
Yeah. Is there anything that I really wanted to mention that I didn't? Because again, Better Call Saul and Breaking Bad are now two of my favorite TV shows of all time. If I missed anything in particular, I'm gonna feel pissed.
Do you think Gus being gay is gonna be too subtle for most of the viewers?
Yeah,
Gus being gay too subtle for most viewers.
100%.
Heavily implied, though. More than heavily implied.
Only in Better Call Saul in one scene.
It's heavily implied in Breaking Bad that, like, while they were business partners, they were more. Like
but they never talk about it. They never imply it. The only person who does imply it is, I think, Hector and Don Eladio. Is it Don Eladio? I feel like it's
Don Eladio, yeah.
When they're talking about it.
I mean, it's either him or Bosa, so.
I know. I think Bosa was the guy running. There's only one scene where I believe Hector calls them the Butt Brothers instead of the Chicken Brothers, I think that's kind of it. Like, I don't
know. When I was watching Breaking Bad, I assumed Gus was gay because of their, like, the way they interacted with each other before he got shot in the head.
All right. Well, my gaydar didn't go off. I literally, the person I was watching it with, Gav, he had to be like, yeah, by the way, it's confirmed he's gay. And they were boyfriends. I'm like, what the fuck?
His reaction to that death was way too strong for it to have just have been a friend or a business partner, I felt. That was my read, though.
I mean, I guess that's sort of fair. But yeah, that's a good question, because I had some people, actually just today, I don't remember where I was. Oh yeah, someone was talking about, oh my god, someone was talking about Gus Fring as being like, oh, you know, he was a real man, and everyone's like, no, stop, none of them, they were all bad people, don't do that. And then some people was like, he was gay, right? Yeah, he's confirmed to be gay. Okay, I heard he was gay, but I never picked up on that. And I'm like, no, yep.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's Breaking Bad, Better Call Saul, two of the best shows on television. Vince Gilligan is also making another series, not set in the Methverse.
Metaverse.
Yeah, and it's going to be apparently kind of Twilight Zone-esque.
Interesting.
I'm very curious.
I'm intrigued because he does really good work with characters, so I'll sit with anticipation for that. But what do you think? What did you think of Nope? What did you think of Better Call Saul and Breaking Bad? Let us know in the comments below, and thank you so much for joining us for the Talkcast Pod Show. Catch you guys on the next one.
Woo!